Welcome to Cary, North Carolina for the Division II Baseball Championship. We've got a doubleheader for you again today in our first game. Rollins facing elimination against Point Loma. The Sea Lions have won their first two games here. I'm Joe Castellano along with Lincoln Rose. And Lincoln, the team from San Diego, California, Point Loma, they won their first two games. They've had a couple of days off while Rollins has had to battle out of the loser bracket, and they were facing elimination. They were able to beat Illinois Springfield, and they eliminated Southern Arkansas yesterday to arrive at this game today.
Yeah, you'll recall Rollins, their only loss was their first game against Southern Arkansas, a 3-1 loss. Well, they exacted revenge yesterday by knocking out the Mule Riders 7-5, able to hang on for that victory. And you mentioned Point Loma. We haven't seen them play baseball for a couple days. The bracket favors them. They're the only team that will have had a 2-day break. But don't worry, if you're a Sea Lions fan, every single day they will play baseball the rest of the way as long as they keep winning.
Well, they have been dominating. They beat Illinois Springfield Saturday 8-1, and then they turned around on Monday and crushed Southern Arkansas 11-3. So they've outscored opponents 19-4. And on the mound today is redshirt sophomore Dylan Miller, the right-hander, 9-1 with a 3.43 ERA. Earlier this year, he threw a no-hitter for Point Loma. Joey Rubin to lead it off for Rollins, and here we go. And it's fouled back to the screen, 0-1. We're underway. Rubin hitting at .279 with a home run and 20 RBIs.
Yeah, we've talked about Rubin as just a freshman entrusted with the leadoff spot in this lineup. They'll have a couple seniors batting right behind him.
Takes in the dirt, and the count is 1-1.
This is your daily reminder. Rollins last year had exactly 9 wins all season. They come into today's game with 42.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. What an improvement for them. 42-16 with their record. 2-1 here in Cary. Point Loma at 50-8 with its record. They've won 12 of their last 13. The pitch in the dirt. 2-2. Dylan Miller on the mound. The most competitive starter, according to Coach Justin James, in this rotation. Throws a fastball, slider, curve, changeup.
Third-year sophomore out of Jacksonville.
2-2 to Rubin. Curveball fouled on the first base side. It remains 2-2. Yeah, he was born in Jacksonville, but went to high school near San Diego at Coronado High School. And he has been durable, Lincoln. He has gone 6+ innings 10 times out of his 14 starts, so he could go deep into this game if he follows suit. The 2-2 popped up foul on the right side out of play. It remains 2-2.
Both these teams led by head coaches who have had previous experience leading teams to this stage. Of course, Point Loma's head coach, Justin James, we got to see in recent years with UCSD before their transition to D1. And, of course, John Sjogren has his own history before being the head coach of Rollins to coaching against Rollins on this stage back in his time at Bryant.
Justin James in his 4th season with Point Loma recently got his 100th win in the Super Regional clincher against the Azusa Pacific, while John Sjogren is in his 17th season at Rollins, over 400 wins at Rollins. 2-2 to Rubin, and a long at bat, and now a full count to Joey Rubin. It's going to be pitch number 9 of the game.
Well, it's kind of a talking point we always will give you when a leadoff hitter works the count full like this. Even if he doesn't reach base, this is a productive at-bat.
Payoff pitch. Strike 3 called. Got him with a fastball. And Rubin, after the long at-bat, goes down on strikes.
Nice job by Dylan Miller. Able to finally keep Rubin off the base paths, but Joey Rubin does show a couple of senior hitters right behind him. A lot of the repertoire for today's starter.
Here's Chase Acuff, the shortstop, hitting .376, 2 homers, and 25 RBIs, facing Miller. And that's in there for a called strike, 0-1. Beautiful day. It is hotter than what we've been experiencing here in Cary, North Carolina. Our game time temperature at 87 degrees. There's a called strike. We had a lot of rain last night. And that sort of picked up the humidity, so it might be a little uncomfortable for some of the pitchers deeper into the game. 0-2 to Acuff. It's low for a ball, 1-2.
Again, 3rd straight game that Rollins has faced elimination. If they manage to hand Point Loma its first loss, they'll face again tomorrow. But we saw Chase Acuff come in late as their pitcher sliding over from shortstop.
1-2 pitch is low for a ball, 2-2. Yeah, the versatile Acuff, I should say, as he ended up getting the save. They needed him to do that yesterday as they beat Southern Arkansas 7-5. One away, nobody on. The 2-2 to Acuff, hit in the air, center field. Under control is Alvarez out there. 2 down. Your outfield, it's Isaiah Alvarez who made that play. Jack Malone flanking him in left field, and Hunter Ochin in right. Your infield is Otto Kemp at third, Scott Anderson at short, Jason Dumont at second base, Jacob Christian at first, and the catcher is Easton Waterman. Here's Adams Torres, the number 3 hitter, batting .299, 7 homers and 50 RBIs.
Had a really nice day at the plate yesterday, 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored.
Takes in the dirt, 1-0.
Helped brought that average over 300.
Towing the extreme first base side of the rubber is Miller. The pitch outside, breaking ball there, 2-0. The no-hitter that Miller threw, that was back on March the 5th against Eagles. And it was a 7-inning no-hitter, and he had 11 strikeouts in that game. That's a ball, 3-0 to Torres. Jesslyn Whitehead is waiting on deck. We'll see the Whitehead brothers today. Jesslyn playing first base, and it'll be Jalen Whitehead on the mound when Rollins goes out defensively. 3-0 to Torres. Outside, ball 4, a 4-pitch walk for Torres.
Yeah, we had 3 first-team All-American pitchers make it to Cary this year. Of course, Rollins faced one of them in Adorno back in the opener, but Cole Hillier found a victory for Point Loma in that first game, and they're able to rest him until the if necessary game tomorrow. For all they know, he'll be pitching game 1 of that championship.
Here's Jesslyn Whitehead hitting .348 on the year, no homers and 39 RBIs. Little odd that you have a cleanup hitter who has no home runs, but he has been the most effective hitter here in Cary for Rollins. 4 for 11 with 2 RBIs.
Yeah, he was fantastic yesterday.
He's made some nice defensive plays over at first base. Stands in the back of the box, grounds one into left field. That's a base hit. Hit that ball hard. And it's 2 on, 2 outs for Nick Santucci.
It's a big part of their win yesterday. Again, Whitehead, it's not about power, just consistency, batting .352. He was 2 for 3 yesterday with 2 RBI and 2 runs scored, as well as a walk. Finds another way to get back on the base paths here. Back-to-back batters reach with 2 outs.
So Nick Santucci hitting .269, 14 homers, 44 RBIs. One of 2 left-handed batters in this lineup. The designated hitter trying to produce here in the top of the first inning. That pitch in the dirt, 1-0. So Miller, he got the first 2 batters, strikeout, flyout, but now a walk and a single, putting him in some trouble.
Nick got that thoughtful sign you made for him there in the first row.
Go Tucci. Nick, who is from the Northeast, from Franklin, Massachusetts, but has migrated down to Winter Park, Florida. And he takes low for a ball, 2-0.
Boy, if Rollins could give themselves an early lead against Point Loma, that would make this a lot more enjoyable process for them. Maybe a pitcher could eat up some innings here. Of course, talking about Whitehead. You could save that bullpen for a game you need to be playing in tomorrow.
High fly ball hitting the right center field, hit well. Alvarez going back. It's gone! A bomb by Nick Santucci. A 3-run blast. And Rollins leads it 3-0.
Well, he's one of the seniors who for a 3rd straight game is suiting up not knowing whether it's his final game. And he is trying to extend his Tars career another day.
He gets the sombrero, and he is fired up along with his teammates. What a shot that was. It just kept going. Here's Cameron Meehan, takes a strike, 0-1. I thought it was hit pretty well, Lincoln, but it just kept going over those trees beyond the right center field wall.
Again,
1-1 the count.
all of this is being done after the first two batters this inning were retired. A walk, a single, and the 3-run blast from Santucci.
What a shot that was. 2-1 the count here. Third home run for Rollins here in Cary. They've had back-to-back games with big 3-run homers. Here's the pitch to Meehan. Fouled back to the screen, 1-2. Remember yesterday, the man who's on deck right now, Ryan Coleman, hit a big 3-run homer. And those come in handy when you play close games. They've played 3 straight games that have been close, decided by 2 runs or fewer.
And look, if you're Point Loma, you absolutely wanted those 2 days off. You're 2-0, you show up here. Rollins has beat you twice, but there's something to be said for Rollins playing in their 3rd straight day in a meaningful ball game.
Meehan wraps one to shortstop. Nice backhanded stop by Anderson, and he gets Meehan, and that retires the side. But a 3-run homer by Nick Santucci, his 15th home run of the season, first here in Cary. And at the end of 1/2 inning, the score. Well, Nick Santucci showed some kind of power on this 3-run bomb. That ball just kept going and going. It might have hit the walkway out there. And talk about a guy who was fired up. Can't blame him. As Rollins facing elimination again, and they get off to the good start. The sombrero. And that's good news for Jalen Whitehead, who did not have that kind of offensive support in the first outing when he had a complete game, but lost in that first game of the tournament to Southern Arkansas. Otto Kemp leading off for Point Loma, takes a strike, 0-1.
Joe, it's been a couple days since Otto Kemp has reached base.
2 days off for Point Loma after their victory against Southern Arkansas 11-3. Takes a strike, 0-2. And Kemp hitting .356 on the season, 16 homers from the leadoff spot, 61 RBIs, 4 for 9 in this tournament with 3 runs driven in. So he's had a great time here in Cary.
Well, he's reached base the first inning every game this week, and that, as a result, has quickly put to rest the question of will the streak end? Point Loma has played 58 games, and he has reached base all 58 contests at least once.
Yeah, that's a great statistic as he tries to continue that for a leadoff man. That's pretty awesome. 1-2 the count to Kemp. Jalen Whitehead, 10-3, 1.72 ERA. Opponents hitting just 192 against him. The grad student left-hander. 1-2 is high, 2-2.
Yeah, Jalen was your pitcher of the year in the Sunshine State Conference. Went on to receive first-team All-American honors.
2-2 pitch, high, 3-2. And then the region pitcher of the year in the South region, along with the conference. Throws 82-87 with his fastball. Doesn't throw all that hard, but slider and changeup. The 3-2 to Kemp. Check swing, and he went around for a strike. Kemp has struck out for out number 1.
Again, first time he has not reached in the first inning this week.
Well, Rollins has had really good pitching from their starters. They have a 2.25 ERA in the first 3 games. Just got handcuffed right there. Now Scott Anderson hitting .314, 9 homers, 48 RBIs. That misses upstairs. A lot of times, Whitehead will start hitters off with breaking balls, off-speed stuff, and come back with a fastball later. He works very quickly, 1-1 to Anderson. Infield plays Anderson to pull a little bit. Outfield a step towards left. That's ripped into center field, base hit. So Anderson with a 1-out single. He's on at first for Baxter Halligan.
Point Loma has not spent much of this week trailing. They briefly trailed Illinois Springfield 1-0 going into the bottom of the first. Sea Lions immediately claimed a lead for themselves. A little taller of a task here because of Santucci's 3-run home run with 2 outs.
Baxter Halligan, we've seen him on the mound, and he's a great pitcher, and he is an excellent hitter as well, as he takes a ball 1-0, and that's why he was the pitcher and player of the year in the conference and the West region, and he set school and Pac-West records for wins in a single season on the mound. At the plate, hitting .353, 9 homers and 46 RBIs.
Yeah, some publications have him as the National Pitcher of the Year in Division II.
Throw to first, back in safe as Anderson with a dive. He's not much of a base stealer, 2 for 2.
And they have the benefit of saving Halligan for tomorrow. They just don't know whether that will be in a rematch against Rollins with their season on the line, or perhaps in a championship series with one of the other 2 remaining teams.
That pitch misses for a ball, 2-0. We've seen some base stealing teams here in Cary out of the 8 teams. These 2 teams are not among them. They are not trying to steal many bases, at least in this tournament. There's only 1 stolen base between the 2 teams. And that's it. Halligan with a runner at first and 1 out, showing bunt with a 2-0 count. Maybe just trying to draw another ball there, and he did. And now it's 3-0 to Halligan. Sometimes a pitcher doesn't like seeing a batter squared around like that.
Well, a lot of times catchers don't either. Jared Herron, of course, you got that barrel of the bat to contend with now, and if a ball happens to get past you, that runner takes second.
Does Halligan take all the way on 3-0? He is taking, and it's a strike, 3-1. On deck is Hunter Ochin. Anderson at first, 1 out, 3-0 Rollins after the 3-run homer by Santucci in the top of this first inning. Whitehead ready to go, the 3-1. He shows bunt again and takes a strike, so he really wanted to take a look at a couple of pitches to make him throw strikes. So now a full count with 1 out, and you wonder if Anderson might be on the move here.
Anderson just 2 for 2 this year.
Lots of experience in this matchup with Halligan, a senior, and Whitehead on the mound, a grad student. That's fouled back to the screen.
Yeah, no hit and run there.
Count remains 3-2 to Halligan. Whitehead, who had the complete game loss in his first outing Saturday against Southern Arkansas, our first game of the tournament, went 8 innings for the complete game. 3-2. Oh, that just missed a little bit high. Halligan, a great eye to take that one. He walks, and now Hunter Ochin represents a tying run coming to the plate.
Yeah, there are a couple of close pitches that he took. One of them was called for a strike to extend the plate appearance. The next one went his way, and Hunter Ochin's been a fun one to watch that we've been deprived of the past couple of days, though he did come out to watch some of the action yesterday as a spectator.
Going through his routine up there. Ochin hitting .335, 11 homers, and 49 RBIs. 4 for 9 in this tournament with 4 runs driven in as he takes a strike, 0-1. Leading the team in runs driven in here.
Yeah, he loves the movie Bull Durham, so he made himself his own chicken bone cross, and then extra tickled that here he is just down the road from the Durham Bulls.
Fouled back by Ochin. Count is 0-2. His dad visited us yesterday and was telling us that Hunter, you see all of the energy that is displayed here. When he's done playing baseball, he pretty much crashes. He's ready to go to sleep because he uses up all of his energy on the baseball field.
Just in the batter's box.
0-2 to Ochin, way high, and it's 1-2. He goes for the dirt. One of those guys who does not wear batting gloves, so he wants to be able to get a good grip. And then he's looking down at his hand to get the signs. You know, a lot of players, or most players, have the forearm band where they look for the sign, but he's got something written actually on his hand as a reminder. 1-2 to Ochin. Floated towards second base, caught, throw to second, double play as Torres throws to Acuff, and they double off Anderson at second base. It looked like he had time to get back, but it took him a long time to get back, and the double play retires the side. Anderson went the wrong way there, and by the time he adjusted, too late. Double play, inning over. 3. Rollins feeling pretty good about its chances early in this game after a 3-run homer by Nick Santucci in the first. Now they come to bat in the second, leading at 3-0. Ryan Coleman, who had a 3-run homer of his own yesterday, will lead it off. .271 average, 6 homers, 27 RBIs.
Yeah, Rollins is not guaranteed a tomorrow, but they've improved their odds, taking this early advantage thanks to that Santucci home run. They need to play 2 against Point Loma over the next 2 days.
Coleman takes way outside from Miller, 1-0. That home run that Miller gave up, the 16th he's allowed this season, most on the staff. He's had a couple of games recently where he's given up 3 home runs in a game. 3 home runs in a game. But that doesn't mean that Point Loma isn't going to win. In the games that he's given up 3 homers in a game recently, they won both of those games against Fresno Pacific and Northwest Nazarene.
Yeah, Point Loma's had a knack for getting as many runs as anybody this week, both early in ball games and late.
Miller 9-1 on the year coming in. There's a ground ball foul on the first base side. 2-2 to Coleman. He'll be followed by Smith and Herron. The only loss for Miller came against Hawaii Pacific back in March.
Coleman with a home run yesterday when Rollins had 2 men go deep in an inning. Ryan would finish the game 2 for 3 with 2 RBI and a run scored.
Drilled one over the right field wall yesterday. Full count to Coleman. Pitch. In the dirt, ball 4. So a leadoff walk for Coleman, second walk for Miller.
Well, but this inning getting started quicker for Rollins. Remember, first 2 batters were retired last inning by Miller.
And he's had to throw a lot of pitches. You remember the first batter struck out and ended up with a 9-pitch at bat. That was Joey Rubin. And 28 pitches in the first inning for Miller, 34 now in the game. And that is a ball with a breaking ball. 1-0 to Parker Smith, hitting .284, 11 homers, and 37 RBIs. Short lead at first for Coleman, not much of a base stealer. That misses for a ball, 2-0. Smith 1 for 9 here in Cary. The redshirt sophomore from Orlando, Florida. Miller deals, and the pitch down and away. He falls behind 3-0. So something's going on with Miller here. A couple of walks and now falling behind 3-0. On the year, Miller 19 walks, 79 strikeouts, and 84 innings. 3-0 to Smith. In there for a strike, 3-1.
If you happen to be a North Greenville fan tuning in, you are rooting for Rollins to win today. Not sure as you're quite as invested tomorrow. And then you're hoping North Greenville can get through this afternoon unscathed.
High fly ball in the center field. Drifting back is Alvarez. Lots of sunshine as he was looking up into the sky, but he's got it. 1 away.
Similarly, both of these teams will be Westchester fans tonight. You just don't want anybody on the other side of the bracket coming through unbeaten.
Catcher, number 24, Herron.
If you're a Point Loma fan, obviously selfishly, you want to be unbeaten, though.
And they've played so well in the first 2 games. It'll be Westchester and North Greenville tonight. Here's Jared Herron, throw to first, and back safe is Coleman. Herron, the catcher, hitting .307 on the year, 5 homers, 13 RBIs, and done a nice job here in Cary. 3 for 10, and his hits, all 3 of them, have been doubles. He cranks one to left field deep. Malone going back, looking up, gone. 2-run homer for Herron. 5-0 Rollins.
Jared Herron had himself a day yesterday with a couple of doubles. Some nice pop there from the 9-hitter. And the Tars again, every run they get, improving their chances of playing yet another day here in Cary.
6th home run of the season for the number 9 hitter, and he crushed that one. They brought the big bats today, Rollins.
Back up to the top of the order. Third baseman.
They had 2 homers in the first 3 games. They got 2 home runs in the first couple of innings today. Here's Joey Rubin at the top of the order, struck out looking in the first inning. First pitch to Ruben, in there for a strike, 0-1. I think even though Ruben struck out, he kind of set things up a little bit for Rollins because he made Miller work hard right off the bat. They throw a lot of pitches.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. A reminder, Ruben had worked that count full.
He had fouled off 3 pitches. He had a 9-pitch at bat. 1-1 pitch, hit in the air down the right field line in the corner. Ochin angling back, reaching up, hitting the wall, makes the catch in foul territory. What a catch by Ochin. Man, he had a collision with the wall, and it did not give, and he still hung on to the baseball.
Somebody needs to check to see if the wall's okay. Hunter Ochin, full speed, secures that ball in the glove. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, he plays the game of baseball with a football mentality for sure, and it came in handy right there. Here's Chase Acuff. Ground ball in the hole at shortstop. Nice backhand by Anderson. The throw to first, not in time. Whoa, he's called out. I don't think so, but Acuff is called out by the first base umpire, Rick Cacciatore.
Yep, Point Loma has to stay on the field here as it has already been challenged.
But that, to me, looked clear that he was out. The umpires, Drew Eaton behind the plate, Rick Cacciatore at first, Steve Zawiski at second, Trevor Hinson at third, and they are getting together now, and we'll see if they go to replay. Ooh, you know, it's closer than I thought.
Well, because he gets the back part of the bag.
I mean, on a one-bounce throw like that, it's tough when you look at it live to tell when the ball is in the glove.
Again, by rule, the team that's out on defense must remain out on the field.
Well, we've had plenty of reviews. And to my recollection, Lincoln, we haven't had that many reversals.
I think that just reiterates that the umpires, even on really close plays, more often than not, in real time, able to get the call right. So what's working against Acuff is he doesn't hit the front of the bag in stride. He hits the back of the bag.
Well, I don't see the ball there, so it's really hard to tell. You have to see the ball and the foot all at once to be able to make a good call.
And they have upheld the call.
The call on the field is confirmed. The runner is out.
Wow, so they have confirmed it. I'd love to see it again. We'll do that when we come back. That's the end of the inning. 2 runs come in on the homer by Herron. 5-0 in favor of Rollins. Jacob Christian leading it off for Point Loma, down 5-0 as we start the bottom of the second inning, hitting .323, 13 homers, 56 RBIs. He swings and misses, 1-1. Well, that was a very interesting end of the top of the second inning. It turned out to be a great play by the shortstop Anderson and back-to-back great defensive plays by Point Loma. When we saw it first at first base, when we saw it initially live, it certainly looked like Acuff had beaten that out to get an infield single out of it. But Rick Cacciatore was right. When we take a look at replay, it's different.
It is as close as you can get. Ball and glove there.
Yeah, I mean, he's out, which is hard to believe. When we saw it live, we really thought he was safe. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Whitehead uses the breaking stuff there and gets his second strikeout, 1 away.
So even if you're at home and you looked at that and you thought actually looked like he was safe, just understand there was nothing that was going to overturn the call.
Unless it's obvious that he's safe, you know, because you're looking for concrete evidence. There's a shot past the third baseman, Ruben, as Waterman hit that and races around first. Big turn as the throw comes into second from Coleman, and then diving back to first was Waterman. I love the way he was running the bases there. But the catcher for Point Loma with a 1-out single. Well, if they give him a single, it was hit past the third baseman.
Number 5, Jack Malone.
We would have been praising the defensive play had this been an infield out. Slipped while slamming on the brakes, but back in time.
Screeching around first. So Waterman is 6 for 9 here in Cary. Jack Malone climbs in, bluffs a bunt, and takes a strike, 0-1. That was a hit officially.
Back-to-back innings that Point Loma has conceded multiple home runs. A 3-run shot and a 2-run shot. They're hoping to claw some of that back here.
1-1. I want to go back to Rick Cacciatore again. I mean, yeah, you have to have concrete evidence, as I was mentioning. That was a good call. And when you watched it live from the booth, you didn't think so. And more often than not, these umpires have been right on top of it with their live calls. As I mentioned, I don't know how many reversals we've had, but we didn't get one there. It's got to be conclusive to overturn it. 2-1 the count.
And it was aided by the fact that the batter didn't reach the bag until he stepped on top of the bag.
Yeah, sometimes a runner maybe stutter steps or he just doesn't have the right rhythm at the end of it to get to the bag in time. Malone up there, the infield playing him to pull. He drives one into deep right field. Smith at the warning track, leaps at the wall, makes an incredible catch. Back to first goes Waterman. What a play by Parker Smith. The right fielders have been making incredible plays out there.
Well, Parker Smith saw the catch crashing into the wall by Hunter Ochin. Look at the elevation.
I don't know if that would have been a home run. I don't think so. It might have hit the top of the fence out there, the top of the wall. But, man, I mean, he had to go back quickly. That ball was zooming over him.
It's not a home run, but it's extra bases if he doesn't catch that one.
Yeah.
And with a runner on first, maybe a run scored.
Both right fielders flashing the defense out there. Here's Jason Dumont hitting .245. Takes a strike, 0-1. 1 homer, 19 RBIs. Man, that was a big play. Ball's carrying pretty well, isn't it, so far today?
I'm for it.
We've already seen 2 home runs from Rollins. That ball's hit in front of the plate on the line. Fair ball. The catcher, Herron, fires to first, and the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. Great play in right field by Parker Smith. We have played 2 in Cary, North Carolina at the Division II Baseball Championship. 5-0 Rollins as
Jared Herron was seeing the ball really well yesterday, and even better today, a 2-run blast in the second. Back-to-back innings, Rollins has gone deep as they have stretched their lead to 5 and are looking for more here in the top of the third. Lincoln Rose, Joe Castellano with you, along with our NCAA.com crew, and boy, we have seen already some fantastic baseball in the first couple of innings. Most recently, Parker Smith's catch out there in right field as his teammates were excited to high-five him back into the dugout. Adams Torres walked and got that 2-out rally started back in the first inning. That would extend the inning for Whitehead's single and Santucci's home run. Behind on the count here, 0-2. Dylan Miller just hoping to settle down, post some zeros, and give his Sea Lions offense a chance to battle back.
Well, these are 2 of the best pitching staffs in the country. Point Loma came into this tournament 2nd in the nation, and Rollins came in 3rd in the nation in ERA. But one thing you have to factor in is defense. I don't know, we've got somebody just running out there.
Track down the ball.
Okay. I thought he was on the field of play for a second.
Ball left side. It gets past both the bare-handed attempt from Dylan Miller as well as his shortstop, Scott Anderson.
But the bats seem to be cooking today, even though the pitching is great when you look at the overall season for both of these teams. Defense definitely, though, that's been the factor for both teams as well when you're talking about having those low ERAs, the defensive plays, and we've seen them today.
All right, Dylan Miller, no more trying to bare-hand balls hit back at you. As Jesslyn Whitehead comes to the plate. Both Whiteheads in the starting lineup today, and another base hit for Jesslyn. He's 2 for 2. As Torres moves down to second All Jack Malone can do is quickly get it back into play.
Man, they've already got 5 hits in this game. The 5 home runs that they have, that's more than Point Loma gave up total in the first 2 games.
Well, back in the first, Santucci came up with Torres and Whitehead on the base paths. That was with 2 outs. This is with nobody out here in the third. For Santucci, his 15th home run this year. A 3-run shot. That was a mammoth. This will just be a foul ball.
I mean, he really got a hold of it. It just kept going over the trees out there. It bounced high, so you got to figure it hit the walkway out there. It's a good poke.
We are down to half of our field. 8 teams arrived. Began a championship journey this week. We are down to 4, including these 2 programs. Rollins lost their first game this week. They're playing in their 3rd straight elimination game. For Point Loma, they're just playing in their 3rd overall game. They know they have another game guaranteed, but they'd rather do some heavy lifting in this contest and battle back. Torres on second, Whitehead on first. The 1-1. Santucci will shoot this out to Alvarez in center. And no opportunity to tag for Torres. 1 away. Didn't hit that one quite as far.
No, got under it a little bit.
That gives way to Cameron Meehan, 0 for 1 today with a ground down to the left side. As he faces Dylan Miller for the second time. Yeah, you mentioned the great pitching stats for both of these teams, and you noted Dylan Miller, one of 2 Point Loma pitchers with a 7-inning no-hitter this year, neither of whom is the first-team All-American pitcher for the Sea Lions, Hillier. Count 1-1 to Meehan with 1 out. First appearance on the big stage here for Point Loma. Their neighbors there in San Diego, the Tritons, who used to be in Division II, started to become recurring visitors. Count 1-2. So Adams, Torres, and Jesslyn Whitehead, each with singles to lead off this inning, are each on the base paths for a second time. There was no encore for Nick Santucci, who flied out to center. But still an opportunity for another crooked number here in the third with 1 out, 2 on. Meehan whips that towards his head coach. John Sjogren, pretty spry still. That's a nice pirouette.
Playing in back-to-back games, played yesterday. But what you're talking about as far as Point Loma getting here for the first time, you think about these 2 teams, and Rollins, even though it's their 3rd trip, this is the first time since 2004 that they've been able to get here. They both have something to prove, both teams, both schools. Because with Rollins, I mean, you've got Tampa that gets here most of the time out of that South region. And with Point Loma, you mentioned UC San Diego, and really the West doesn't get the credit. I mentioned it earlier that there has not been a national champion from the West since Chico State in 1999.
The 2-2. Got him. 2 away.
Big strikeout. He's just trying to get things going after the rough start.
Dylan Miller struck out the first batter he faced today. That's his 2nd K on the resume now.
Now batting left fielder, Ryan Coleman.
Coach Justin James for Point Loma told us that he thought pitching and toughness were the 2 keys to winning here in Cary.
After leading off with back-to-back singles, Adams, Torres, and Jesslyn Whitehead are still on first. Dylan Miller hopes they are stranded there. As Ryan Coleman led off last inning with a walk, he scored on the 2-run home run from Herron. This one's sent for a ride. Home run. Another 2-out, 3-run blast. As Ryan Coleman does it again here in Cary.
Wow. He's got 2 home runs and 6 RBIs the last 2 days. In his last 3 official at-bats, he's 2 for 3, 2 homers and 6 RBIs. Man, he crushed it.
The only question was fair or foul, and it was fair. Now Parker Smith all by his lonesome. No teammates on the base paths as things settle down. Another look at a monster down the line.
And Dylan Miller, once again, has given up 3 home runs in a game.
So you're saying he's done?
Well, I'm saying that he's done it before, and they won each of the games that he did that.
Yeah, you just got to get them out of the system. Now you settle in.
I mean, it happened against Fresno Pacific May 10th. It happened again May 20th against Northwest Nazarene. And now it happens here. 3 out of his last 4 starts, he's given up 3 bombs.
And down on strikes, but not before. Another 2-out home run, this time from Ryan Coleman, who goes deep on back-to-back days. Well, the lead has grown thanks to that man, Ryan Coleman. A 3-run shot, second straight day with a home run. 3 runs in the first, 2 in the second, 3 more in the third. Point Loma is your home team this time. Now, be mindful, if Rollins hangs on to win, they get to move to the home dugout tomorrow. There's still a lot of baseball to be played, though, before the Sea Lions pick up their first loss. Acuff to Whitehead, able to retire Isaiah Alvarez as that completes the Point Loma lineup for the first time.
What is it about the number 6 seed? Remember last year, the number 6 seed was Wingate. They were in the loser bracket. They ran right through that and won the national championship. You got Rollins, the number 6 seed. They lost their first game to Southern Arkansas. Then they beat Illinois Springfield. They beat Southern Arkansas, and here they are with a big lead trying to win 3 in a row.
So back to the top of the order to Otto Kemp. Struck out back in the first inning.
What an onslaught it has been for Rollins offensively. I mean, Point Loma's pitchers were so good. 18 innings, 4 earned runs coming in the first 2 games. But 8 runs allowed by Dylan Miller in the first 3 today.
And Isaiah hit him.
Yep.
So Kemp is on with 1 out.
Have we had a game where there were no hit by pitches? I don't think so.
Yeah, new rule implemented this year.
You have to have a hit by pitch?
There is a minimum. I'm being told that's not a rule. Okay.
It's just a coincidence.
So Jalen Whitehead, the most runs he has given up this year was 5 runs to Delta State last month, a little less than a month ago. Obviously, now is in an 8-inning performance. Spotting a first-team All-American, a 8-run lead tends to benefit that team. And there's a pretty good chance we're not talking about the bullpen today for Rollins, even if things get a little bumpy. One on, 1 out. The 0-2 to Anderson's going to have to wait.
Meanwhile, Point Loma's saying, you know what? We scored 11 runs the last game. We can come back in this game.
If anybody can, it's Point Loma. But they've been front runners in their 2 victories, and then were able to pile on late to put away their competition. Parker Smith coming in on this. It'll be the second baseman Torres, though, unable to make the catch. And you can understand Otto Kemp was clinging close to first, but still has time to trot down to second. 2 on.
Well, I think the sun had something to do with that. That is going to be an error. But I don't think Torres saw this all that great. He has sunglasses on, but sometimes that doesn't matter. I mean, that sun is so bright, and if you can't get your glove up to try to block it, you just sometimes can just lose it, and you can't catch the ball when you have sun right in your eyes.
Well, and it gives way to Baxter Halligan with 2 men on. Here's a guy who can put runs on the board. Halligan at the plate. Hunter Ochin on deck. A ground out, a hit batter, and an error so far. And Halligan delivered the first base hit this inning after he walked back in the first. Two and 0. Lefty versus lefty.
It's a Rollins defense that leads the nation in double plays turned. They would love to get one here. Got the shift on against Halligan, playing on a pull.
And before Halligan again was confirmed as the All-American, he was your Conference Pitcher of the Year, Conference Player of the Year, Region Pitcher of the Year, Region Player of the Year, an everyday player. Looking for an impact here. Not chasing that one. 3 and 1.
Got in the weight room before this season, put on 20 pounds. That helped him put up a big season.
And his teammates got into the NC State weight room during their 2 days off, just across town over in Raleigh, as the Wolfpack welcomed them. The 3-1.
But it's been the Rollins club, their lineup, that's been flexing their muscle so far in this game, right?
Facing elimination for a third straight day. Rollins has been playing as much baseball as anybody.
They didn't have time to lift weights, but they're doing the heavy lifting in this game.
Only third base unoccupied. Kemp on second, Anderson on first. A hit batter and an error with 1 out. Payoff pitch is fought foul and will keep the count full.
There was a time in baseball when lifting weights was frowned upon, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Yeah. Back in the old days.
I've seen the footage.
Yeah, they didn't think it was a good idea to lift weights. They thought that it would hinder your flexibility to swing a bat, but then it was realized that lifting weights definitely could help you have more power.
Whitehead looking for that elusive second out this inning. Shot out towards center. Meehan underneath it, and everybody will hold right where they are. Point Loma still does not have a run on the board after Rollins has put up a crooked number 3 straight frames. And here's Hunter Ochin. Remember, Hunter lined out to Torres, who then was able to turn 2, catching a teammate off the base back in the first to end that inning.
You know, I was wrong. He's not looking at his hand. He is looking at his forearm. It's just the way he cupped his hand. I thought he was looking at his hand for the sign.
First pitch, a strike.
I think everybody wants to develop some kind of a routine. You know, you have the different stances. How did he develop this routine is what I want to know. It's just so interesting. It's unique. I mean, nobody else does what he does. Kind of reminds you of when you saw Nomar Garcia-Parra and nobody else did what he did at the plate.
A big cut from Ochin.
Those idiosyncrasies that we have enjoyed all week.
If you are running a yoga studio in San Diego, you do not want Hunter Ochin to open whatever his business is next door. 2 on, down by 8, not chasing that one.
And for all of his exploits at the plate, and he's been good here, How about that catch he made when he just ran into the wall in right field in foul territory?
Yeah, they immediately put ice on that wall.
I mean, if there's one guy here that you knew was tough enough to do that, it was him.
Kemp, the runner on second, Anderson on first. Just still fighting. Ball's foul.
It just seems like he has the need to stay loose up there.
Hunter Ochin, just a sophomore.
He's a pitcher, too, and we haven't seen him pitch.
Underneath this one, Meehan recorded the second out and records the third. So Point Loma gets 2 men on in the third. They've now stranded 4 today, and Rollins has shown no signs of slowing down. They'll grab their bats in the top of the fourth. Well, Joe's been telling you all week, Nick Santucci is a trendsetter. The trend today, bombs. A 3-run blast for Santucci with 2 outs. Jared Herron, a 2-run home run, and another 2-out home run worth 3 for Ryan Coleman in the third, as they have blown this one wide open 8-0 as we move on to the top of the fourth. And here is the aforementioned Jared Herron, who had the 2-run home run that scored Ryan Coleman back in the second. 1 for 1 today.
First of all, they're going to sweat out that sombrero hat if they keep hitting home runs. Secondly, I don't know if he was a trendsetter because I don't see anybody else wearing long sleeves. It was a possible trendsetter, but I don't think it happened.
Herron enjoyed it the first time so much. Looking to double dip here and Cary. That ball out of the glove. Extra bases for Jared Herron.
Wait a minute. He caught it.
Oh, something else came out.
Yes. That was bizarre.
Yeah, is that his foot mark that went right to the left of Point Loma?
I think he ripped off something out of the wall.
Apologies to Jack Malone. Malone makes the catch. I thought this was the ball coming out. It's part of the wall.
I did too. He tore out some part of the wall there. The covering just got torn out and he hung on to the baseball. And I thought he was delusional, like holding up something he thought was the ball, but it wasn't. But it really was the ball. Man.
We all have our own truths. All right.
What a play.
1 out, nobody on. Malone makes the catch.
It's like Web Gem Deluxe here.
Rubin opposite field. And that is a fair ball by inches. And Rubin turns on the Jets. A double. And even more important, that catch from Malone. Otherwise, we're talking about another run coming home there. Wow.
I mean, we've seen 3 remarkable plays defensively by Point Loma, and we've also seen a great play by Rollins defensively. There's that part of the wall. The covering just torn off by the spikes of Jack Malone.
Well, that was a different play. He was more towards center, so that wall's taking a beating.
And they are actually going to take a look to see if that was really a fair ball. The call was made by Rick Cacciatore.
It looked fair by inches.
Let's see if Rick was right.
Who are we to question Rick Cacciatore?
Oh, that's tough to tell right there.
Yeah, you and I have a better live look down the line.
I mean, Rick Cacciatore has been very reliable.
Again, this is initiated by Point Loma. Head coach Justin James, the umpires themselves and our crew cannot, I say our crew, the officiating crew cannot initiate a call until the 7th inning.
I mean, Rick Cacciatore has been more reliable than the stock market, so I'm going with him. I don't think you have enough evidence there.
Yeah. There's nothing there to overturn it. It looked to be the right call live. Of course, It also looked like the ball was dropped and left when clearly that was not the case.
I mean, it would help if there was some chalk that would come up.
No chalk.
No chalk.
That's paint.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that was the thing about chalk back in the days, that you had chalk down the line, is that you could see if it came up.
Whereas playing as much baseball as we have, that chalk slowly starts to drift.
Yeah.
So 1 out, 1 on. Here's Chase Acuff, 0 for 2 today. Fly out in first, a ground out in second.
Chalk on the infield. That's Matthew Slasner.
We've already seen one ball dropped in that sun. Not the case this time. Hunter Ochin comes along.
I mean, you see Dumont and Christian, they just peeled off when Ochin called for it. They're not getting anywhere near that guy, because you know that when he calls for it, he's coming charging in.
If anybody's going to win a staring contest with the sun, it's Hunter Ochin.
Yes, exactly. That was good communication, actually.
Here's Adams Torres. He has scored twice today. He has walked and singled so far, including last inning, the base hit. Both starting pitchers still in this ball game. They are hoping to save that bullpen. Rollins hoping to save it for a rematch. Point Loma is hopeful that that offense can click late against Whitehead and maybe avoid that rematch and instead shift their sights to a championship clash. Got to evenly balance out those arms. A little sunning over there for the Tars out of the Sunshine State Conference. Miller, one pitch away from getting out of the inning. He's going to take at least one more. Joey Rubin with that double with 1 out. Had that ball not been caught by Jack Malone, that likely scores Jared Herron. Instead, Herron retired for the first time. Ochin in right. And for the first time, the Tars will be kept off the scoreboard. They will strand a runner after Rubin's double. A couple of flyouts to Hunter Ochin. And it's time for the Sea Lions to get back on offense, as it'll be Christian, Waterman, and Malone duo. All-American Jalen Whitehead and his Rollins Tars playing baseball for a third straight day with their season on the line and their championship hopes. Jacob Christian leads things off, struck out to lead off the second. After that high offering a moment ago, 1-1. Jacob Christian, your conference freshman of the year in the Pac West. First team all-conference, the San Diego native. 12 home runs this year. Point Loma has the ability, obviously, to put up runs. The problem is they're up against an All-American who's had proper rest since his last brilliant outing, even though it did not lead to a win for Jalen. That was their only loss. Problem was he was up against Adorno, another All-American. And what was a 3-1 affair where both pitchers went the distance. Leadoff walk to Jacob Christian.
And that's the last thing you want to do when you have an 8-0 lead. Here's a guy who's been really hard to get out in this tournament.
Remember, Easton Waterman had that single where he was full speed around the base, hoping for maybe more.
Love it. I'd love to see a guy run the bases
That's
like
your
that.
catcher with that speed.
Yeah. Speed and aggressiveness. That's how everybody should run the bases. I mean, seriously. I mean, remember Eric Burns, the way he would run the bases? He was with the A's and the Diamondbacks and some other teams, and man, he would just tear out of the batting box. And you don't see that many major leaguers do that. I mean, you'd like to see that. You know that it's a long season, though, and you don't want to get burned out or hurt running the first base, but it's just great to see the game played that way.
And the lefty Whitehead has a good vantage point at the runner on first, but working out of the stretch after the walk to Christian. One and two. Yeah, Waterman out of Redding, California. Came into this week batting .248 with 23 RBI. Could not lay off it. One away.
And that's what's tough about facing Whitehead. The movement that he has on his pitches for right-handed batters, it's just hard to stop your swing when you see that pitch coming in from him. Really spins it.
Joe, one of these two teams will be playing in the last baseball game of the year for the national championship. I mentioned Rollins won 9 games last year. Point Loma was much better. They won 11 games last year. And that has to breathe some sort of hope into almost every team in America. Point Loma 11-21 last year, was 8-15 in the Pac West. Here's Jack Malone, who was robbed by Ochin. Or pardon me, robbed by Parker Smith out there in right field at the wall of extra bases. I mean, we've been treated to some fantastic defense in a game that's already yielded 8 runs. Christian on first. Had to stay put after the strikeout a moment ago. So Malone 0 for 1 today. Sea Lions, they need to find runs soon. Right now, you are still the mindset of winning this ball game, and you are going all out defensively. Ochin into the wall, Smith into the wall, and finally took a little out of the wall on the other side with Malone. Not sure who's winning through 3 rounds.
And then there was also a play at shortstop by Anderson.
2 walks this inning. A little concerning. Unless you're a Sea Lion fan.
3 walks in the game and a hit batsman. And an error. He's only given up 2 hits, but he's had some base runners there, and now he's going to get a visit from coach.
Patrick Zerba, pitching coach for Rollins. On the staff of John Sjogren, comes out to talk to Jalen Whitehead. Usually we say just throw strikes. Jalen Whitehead, for the most part, you trust his stuff. But ideally, Whitehead is taking you deep into this ball game with an even longer leash than normal for the All-American.
Yeah, I mean, you would think this is a game where you could save your pitching staff. You've been active here the last couple days, and you really want to try to save it. If you can get a long outing from Jalen Whitehead, then you could be set up for tomorrow and try to get into that championship game.
So 2 free passes this inning. Christian and Malone each with a walk, a strikeout of Waterman sandwiched in between. Here is Jason Dumont, who put down a nice one, but the catcher Jared Herron was able to fire a dart over to first for the final out back in the 2nd inning. So Dumont 0 for 1 today. Dumont out of Portland, Oregon, 3rd-team All-Conference. That one just sails right in there.
Got a couple players from Oregon on this team. Baxter Halligan as well from the Pacific Northwest.
2 on, 1 out, down by 8. The number 2 seed, Point Loma, and the number 6 seed, Rollins. Joe reminded us with the history lesson, last year's national champion, the 6 seed, also lost its first game. Last year, that was Wingate losing to Angelo State, came back and beat Angelo State in this equivalent 2 times. Right side, just off the glove of Torres. And you still have a chance to get that lead out. Runners, understandably, had to hold. Christian does move to third. Malone at second is out on the force. And for Jason Dumont, tough break, a fielder's choice.
Yeah, that was really tough base running there for Malone because he thought the ball was going to be caught, and he almost got back to first base, and then he slipped a little bit. Let's take a look if we can see what Malone did right here. I got to get back. I think he's going to catch it. He made the mistake of putting his head down. You need to still see what's going on with that second baseman, and then by the time he located it, it was too late. Now Coach Sjogren,
I think this is based on what we saw yesterday. If the runner doesn't slide, do you get a double play out of it? I think the replay showed us no. The runner was nowhere close to getting to second.
He's having a heated
guessing.
discussion right now with the second base umpire, Steve Zawiski.
Mind you, this is a coach that is up 8-0, but he realizes that he is up against a very capable offense in Point Loma and would love to somehow get his team off the field here, but it's not going to prevail. Good. The umpires are going to come together, and I have to imagine he's asking about interference.
I mean, this is where a head coach can make a difference. Coach Sjogren, that's smart. I mean, get these guys to talk about it. Who knows?
I don't think it's the same fact pattern that we saw yesterday. Yesterday we saw a runner slowly going into second. This runner's not even close to second. He is not even halfway there.
Well, Malone is the runner. Let's see what happens. Well, he does just stand. I mean, you don't expect him to slide right there.
Well, yeah, you can't start your slide with still
Right.
another 30 feet to go to the bag.
I don't know what the problem was.
But, yeah.
But, I mean, I just think for Malone, that was tough. You kind of want to look at the second baseman until he actually has the ball. And, you know, you want to make sure you're fairly close to first. But he put his head down, and then he never was able to get going back towards second.
I think, though, that angle that we just showed, understand why that would be the argument, just not the successful one.
Yeah.
And for those of you at home not understanding the debate, we get it. Here's Isaiah Alvarez, 0 for 1 today. 5th batter to come up. Can he at least find a way to bring Jacob Christian home, who led off this inning with a walk, which, of course, is a big no-no. 2 free passes this inning. Can't start your slide.
You know, I don't even know that the shortstop Acuff had any inclination to throw to first base anyway.
No, he looked to third, but inclination is not part of the rule.
Right. I mean, if you get in the way of something, but he wasn't getting in the way of anything.
We were talking with our chief of officials. We'll have more on that in a moment. This ball, diving catch, of course it was. Cameron Meehan getting in on the fun and keeping the Sea Lions off the board. Oh, just when Point Loma thought surely that zero's coming off, Cameron Meehan with Superman's cape. 8. Four innings in the books. Another tremendous defensive play as Rollins back with Jesslyn Whitehead here. All Jesslyn's done today is 2 singles, 2 runs scored.
Can we have brother MVPs? Because Jesslyn and Jalen have been tremendous for Rollins.
We saw a pretty good tandem yesterday for Westchester.
Yeah. The Cantwell brothers, one on the mound, one in right field. We'll see Westchester again at 6 o'clock tonight Eastern Time as they face elimination, taking on North Greenville, the 2-0 Crusaders.
Yeah, Westchester will be playing the role of Rollins. North Greenville, like Point Loma, 2-0. This will get down 3 for 3 today. Jesslyn Whitehead, he has scored each of the first 2 times. We talk about doesn't put up home runs, but he just puts up numbers.
He is 7 for 14 in this tournament, and he's played good defense at first base.
If you want, I'll do the math for you.
500. This man hit it about 500 feet earlier. No, he didn't, but it was pretty far.
Santucci, 3-run home run back in the first. Flied out to center in the third. Nick Santucci, a charge in this one, but again, will die down into the glove of Alvarez for a second time. And Whitehead has to retreat back to first. Every time Dylan Miller hears that ping off the bat, just is left to wonder.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to go a ways also. The trendsetter, Nick Santucci.
Here's Cameron Meehan. Ground out and strikeout so far today against Dylan Miller. Whitehead led off this inning with a single. The third inning that Rollins has been able to get the leadoff man on, they have scored both times. The 1-1.
The worst outing that Miller's had this year is one of those games where he gave up 3 home runs, allowed 9 runs against Fresno Pacific. 8 of them earned and 3 in the third innings, giving up 8 today.
Well, again, he posted a 0 in the top of the fourth. Even if he were to settle in and be the best pitcher we've seen this week, the problem is Jalen Whitehead on the other side is keeping those bats and runners pretty quiet for the Sea Lions so far. They need to show signs of life as well. Runner going. Throw down. And that's an easy out for the arm of Easton Waterman as Whitehead caught stealing. 2 away.
Well, Rollins, that was their first stolen base attempt of this tournament, and he is gunned down. Perfect throw down to the second baseman, Dumont.
Now the payoff pitch to Meehan. This is where the runner would have been going automatically. I say that, there would have only been 1 out.
By the way, that game I was telling you about, the worst game of the year for Miller, his team was leading 7-1. Eventually, he gave up a bunch of runs, and they eventually won. Point Loma won that game 18-15.
So all of this is by design.
Maybe.
Meehan with the 2-out walk after a teammate caught stealing a couple pitches ago. All right, Ryan Coleman. See if you can get out of that funk. He's only scored twice today, a walk and a 3-run home run back in the third. Did nothing last inning, didn't come to the plate. Made a nice catch. Two of Rollins' 3 home runs have been with 2 outs. Just like Angelo State, Point Loma working with the comms device to relay the pitch into their catcher. Hope to speed up time.
We've seen all different ways to relay those signs to the pitcher, haven't we?
Whether it be wristbands, good old-fashioned signals.
Southern Arkansas had the pitcher looking into the dugout, getting the sign from the dugout.
Fax machines.
That we haven't seen. Does anybody still have a fax machine?
How else would you commit to a Division I football program?
There you go. That's the only reason to have one.
Three balls, no strikes. See if Coleman has a green light here with a runner on and 2 out. The answer is yes. Foul.
Man, is he ever in a groove right now? He's hitting everything hard.
This is the bottom third of the order that's produced 2 home runs for Rollins. They scored 3 in the first, all with 2 outs. 2 runs in the second, 3 in the third. And Rollins, again, who lost their first game this week, but now playing for a 3rd straight day facing elimination. They are in a rhythm, and it's back-to-back walks with 2 outs. Just imagine if the runner had not been caught stealing. Might have bases loaded with 1 away, and we're going to have a change. Dylan Miller got the nod. It's been a bumpy start. 8 runs through the first 3 innings. We're here in the 5th, and the Tars are still threatening, albeit with 2 outs. We'll talk to you about the newest Sea Lion on the mound when you rejoin us on NCAA.com. First man out of the bullpen for the Sea Lions, Matthew Slasner. Didn't have to spend much of the recruiting budget finding him. He's from right there in San Diego, from Torrey Pines High.
Big guy, 6'4", 210, sophomore. Right-hander making his first appearance here in Cary. On the year, 1.86 ERA in 8 appearances.
So far this inning, a single, a flyout, runner caught stealing, 2 outs, and back-to-back walks now. So 2 on, 2 away. Slasner charged with finding that elusive 3rd out here in the 5th inning and keeping the Tars from adding to an 8-0 affair. Every run this game has scored on a home run. A couple of 3-run blasts and a 2-run shot sandwiched in between.
All given up by Dylan Miller in 4 1/3 innings. 2/3 innings, sorry.
Here's Parker Smith. 0 for 2 today. Orlando native, 3rd-year sophomore. The first to face Slasner. Slasner throws 1 pitch, and that may have done the trick. Dumont underneath it. That's your top of the 5th. Tars will strand a pair. Still an 8-run lead intact. Your home team today, Point Loma, back to work. Not sure if he's come out to admire the baseball players or the construction workers out there in left center.
Oh, that's cool.
Otto Kemp leads things off. It's his 3rd time to come up with this top of the order for Point Loma against Jalen Whitehead. And Jalen still with an 8-run lead to work with here in the bottom of the 5th. Sea Lions, obviously it seems likely that they are going to have to face Rollins again tomorrow as opposed to see a new foe. But boy, would they like to prove themselves wrong, maybe with some offense here and start to build a rhythm. This is the one team that has actually their last 2 games, Point Loma, been able to put on runs late to add to leads. Obviously today looking for a comeback as time is called.
Well, they have the power to do it. I mean, 8 runs the first game, 11 the second. Certainly a potent offense. They were hitting .405 the first 2 games.
Left side, a cuff. That's a tough scoop, and Whitehead's got it.
Both of these shortstops can play the position, that's for sure. We've seen them make some nice plays.
That time, little brother helps out big brother. Jesslyn Whitehead at first, Jalen Whitehead on the rubber. Scott Anderson has singled and reached on an error today. And the first pitch he sees gets down and left in front of Coleman. So 1-out single.
The Point Loma shortstop doing it with a bat. Been aboard all 3 trips.
Now batting designated hitter Baxter Halligan.
So second single for Anderson. Sea Lions have had base runners today. They have yet to go down in order. The problem is they have not managed to score any of those base runners, as they have stranded 6 already today. Rollins has only stranded 3. They've made that third out count several times. Baxter Halligan in the 3-hole, your DH. A walk and a fly out today. Could he lay off it? He could not. They appeal down. They get the strike. 0-2. All-American. Just unable to hold back on that one. Halligan came into this week a .345 hitter, against whom batters were hitting .209. Only seen him pitch once so far. Likely to see him tomorrow. I think he was hoping to see either Westchester or North Greenville, but there's a pretty good chance he'll be seeing these Tars unless something changes here past the midway point of this ball game. We really haven't seen a meaningful deficit overcome by a team that wound up winning.
No.
We've seen some deficits trimmed.
Right. But not all the way back.
And you see that CBL patch, Coach Carol B. Land, namesake of their stadium and longtime head coach, who passed in December for Point Loma. Got him. 2 away. Big out as the All-Americans sat down.
Yeah, when he has needed to come up with the big pitches, Whitehead has done it.
Now batting the right fielder Hunter Ochin.
First team All-American against first team All-American. All right, this man's name is Hunter Ochin. Line out to the second baseman in the first, a fly out to center in the third. Hunter still trying to extend an inning and give the Sea Lions a chance to start a comeback here. Not cheated on that swing, but 0-2.
And it's definitely a lot of times about the location of a fastball like that one being up, because you know his fastball right there is 85, and that's normal for Whitehead, but you can't catch up with it if it's in that location.
Slow roller left side. Across the diamond, no problem. A-cuff to Whitehead. Point Loma will strand a 7th runner. It's another 0 on the board posted by Jalen Whitehead, and Rollins, they're back to work offensively, trying to guarantee them another day of baseball in 2022. Joe, you and I aren't the only ones keeping score.
That is an intricate scorecard that she has right there. That is a good job.
One of our Rollins fans, I believe. If I lose track,
You can go over there.
we're zooming back in on that.
Yeah.
We haven't lost track yet, though. 8 runs for Rollins, and they're looking for more. This guy's already done some damage. The 9-hitter, Jared Herron. A couple of doubles yesterday. Had a 2-run blast in the second here today. That was the second of the 3 home runs. It's his first time to see Matthew Slasner, who has already matched his pitch total from last inning in relief. Slasner just needed 1 pitch to get a pop out in that 5th inning and strand 2 base runners for Rollins.
Do you use a number 2 pencil when you're scoring?
You're supposed to.
So you can erase.
That's a fair ball. And struggles Otto Kemp. Still does he have enough arm, throws it away. Jared Herron knows what to do from there. To be clear, that was not a dead ball afterwards, and it's those same two biceps that he brought out after his double yesterday.
Well, you get in trouble when you don't get this one cleanly, and then Kemp tries to rush the throw over there and just throws it away, so gets the error on that throw.
Third baseman Joey Rubin.
I mean, to begin with, he really wanted to come up with that cleanly. Now he's rushing it and throwing it way wide. So that's the first error of the game for Rollins.
Top of the order.
I mean, Point Loma.
Big cut from Rubin.
By the way, Point Loma has the fewest errors in the country coming in, so that's unusual that they would make a mistake defensively.
And again, that was a straight-up error. No single in error there. Two-base error on the third baseman. Up the middle. Snagged by Dumont, but nowhere to go. Runners on the corners. An infield single for Joey Rubin, who's 2 for 4 today.
Well, it took a favorable bounce for Dumont to glove it, but he just didn't have a play anywhere. Saved a run. You have nobody out here. There's another chance for Rollins to do damage.
Chase Acuff is one of 2 Tars who haven't been able to run the bases today. A couple of flyouts and a ground out. Acuff was the man on the bang-bang play at first that was reviewed back in the second inning, who was called out, and the call confirmed. That would end the second. Nobody out. Here in the 6th inning, an error, which now has a man on third in Herron, and the single from Rubin.
I'm going to give credit to all of the hitters in this tournament. They have made pitchers work so hard. It seems like we always have a staff that's about 100 pitches at this point.
One punched out towards right. Ochin in foul territory. Look at the arm from Hunter Ochin.
Oh.
It will not get Jared Herron, but boy, it made things interesting. Now, again, you often debate, do you make that catch in foul territory because the runners will have a chance to tag? He almost made it the absolute right decision.
Almost had a double play. I mean, this is going to be exciting anytime he has the ball out there and somebody's tagging. You got a catcher running right there. I mean, that's a golden arm. I mean, it's a pitcher. I mean, Ochin's also a pitcher. So you know he has a great arm, and he just unleashed one.
So you're saying that one in the dirt?
I would love to see him on the mound. We have not had the opportunity yet. He is a pitcher on this staff, but I want to see Ochin pitching.
Well, it's basically a sac fly on the foul out. That scores Herron. First run scored since back in the third.
I'm just curious what Ochin does on the mound for his routine.
Look, often we ridicule people for making a catch in foul territory that lets a run score, but Ochin doesn't know that ball's foul. It is not foul by much. It was officially a foul out, and then that throw almost allowed him to turn 2. As that one snagged by Kemp, looks the runner back, and fires one to Christian, 2 away.
Man, I have put down so many stars on my scorecard for good plays, and there's another one from Otto Kemp. We've seen so many efforts just diving for balls. Even though the score is out of hand here, Point Loma just flashing some great defense. And after making an error earlier, Kemp showing range at third base, the ability to pop up quickly like that while looking at second the whole time to make sure the runner goes back. I mean, that's just fantastic stuff.
Yeah, Joey Rubin scores if that ball gets past Kemp. Instead, Rubin is on second base for Jesslyn Whitehead, who is 3 for 3 today. There may still be hope for Rubin coming home. This one towards the gap, but hangs up for Ochin. There's out number 3. So Rollins does add an insurance run. The lead grows to 9 as Jared Herron comes home on the sac foul out. from Chase Acuff. As Point Loma 2-0 this week. That first loss getting close to rearing its head. On to the bottom of the sixth, Point Loma was guaranteed coming into today at least 2 games left on the schedule. They are one of 2 teams entering the back half of this week at 2-0, North Greenville the other. Your top 2 seeds, coincidentally. That's a fair ball over the glove of Whitehead and perhaps the break that Point Loma needs to get something started. Boy, inches turns into 180 feet for Jacob Christian, who's standing on second. Boy, shoots that one down the line. A funny hop over the glove of Whitehead, and that ball just continued on into foul territory.
That was a tricky hop because I thought Whitehead was just going to glove that and have a 3 unassisted, but it just hit something over there, bounced up on him right there, and he just couldn't judge it.
And instead of 1 out, nobody on, that ball just keeps going. By the time Parker Smith tracks it down, Christian standing on second.
Smith pulled a little trick out there as he tried to throw it in.
So it's just a straight up 2-base error. Here's Easton Waterman, 1 for 2 today with a single and a strikeout. Jalen Whitehead has been working with an 8-run lead for the first time now with a 9-run lead. That other number in the score column has remained the same. It's the second time Jacob Christian has led off an inning by reaching base. He's the only Point Loma man to lead off and reach successfully, now doing it twice. He had that walk in the 4th in which Point Loma stranded 2. They've left 7 men on. That run in the top of the 6th is the only one that has scored for Rollins, not via a home run. Meehan in center. This will take him away from the throw, and that's going to allow Christian to easily tag up and trot down to third. Jacob Christian, for a second time today, is standing on third base.
The left fielder, Jack Malone.
And yet, even with that run on third, Jalen Whitehead, I think is going to be able to stay within his own lane, pitch his own game.
Putting up zeros all day.
No runs on 3 hits for Point Loma. Jack Malone made a great catch in the outfield, has also been robbed by a great play in the outfield. Give and take here today.
He might still have some of that outfield wall covering on his spikes. Tore up the covering there over by the Point Loma lettering on the wall in left field.
Yeah, when we talk about the gap in left center field, we'll try to be more clear.
I have to borrow some gaffer's tape and put it on the wall, fix it. You have to fix your own divots out there?
Borrow some dirt from Ochin.
I think there's plenty of dirt that you could get from the construction area out there. They're moving it around.
Do a little backfill.
Yeah, they're moving it right now as we speak. I mean, they're working out there on the USA offices, the USA baseball offices.
2 balls, 2 strikes from the only starting pitcher left in this ball game, Jalen Whitehead, who was spotted quickly. There are the Golden Rams of Westchester out of Pennsylvania. They are the only team this week that has previously won a national championship. They've won 2, but they, like Rollins, are taking the tougher path through the elimination bracket. They will try to hand North Greenville a loss today and then repeat the feat tomorrow.
And they were watching some of that construction going on.
The payoff pitch. Meehan. And Parker. Meehan in center with the catch. Point Loma looking for its first run. Play at the plate. Point Loma's on the board. A sacrifice fly scores Jacob Christian, who reached on that error this inning. And for the Sea Lions, just able to take that 0 off the scoreboard.
He had to get it on his horse there at the end of that play. I don't think he realized it was going to be that close. But Meehan threw it in. They relayed it home, and it became a pretty close play. In fact, if he had the ball, that would have really been interesting. Herron had it pop out of his mitt.
Jack Malone with a sac fly. Would never tolerate a ball coming out of his glove. Here's Jason Dumont. 0 for 2 today. He had that liner to the second baseman that went off the glove of Adams Torres. Led to the challenge of whether perhaps there was a runner interference. Punches this one out towards right. Parker Smith doesn't even have to leave his feet. Oh, that's just a ho-hum out there in right field. Point Loma has struck for its first run. They are down to 9 outs in the winner's bracket, as these Tars trying to force a rematch tomorrow.
To the 7th inning we go here in Cary, North Carolina. Alongside Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano. Lots of base runners in this game. 9-1 Rollins as we go to the 7th. And Nick Santucci, who circled the bases back in the first inning with a 3-run homer, got things going. And then we saw another homer. Jared Herron, his 2-run homer. That happened in the second inning, and that made it 5-0. And then a 3-run homer by Ryan Coleman. At that point, it was 8-0. Each team scored a run in the 6th, and we now stand at 9-1. Santucci's home run was way over the right field wall. He also hit another ball to center that was hit pretty well but didn't get out. And he gets ahead here, 3-0 against Slazner, I should say.
Second full inning for Slazner in relief.
3-0. And that misses outside, ball 4. So Slazner with the 4-pitch walk. That is 5 walks in the game for the Rollins hitters, in addition to 9 hits. Here's Cameron Meehan, 0 for 2, struck out, grounded to short, walked. Slazner deals, and it's low for a ball, 1-0.
Man's had a busy day out there in center field.
Well, the outfielders have made some great plays, and the infielders, too, in this game. Ground ball, left side, base hit. Santucci gets the second and holds as Malone throws it in. 2 on, nobody out here in the 7th. Second hit for Meehan here in Cary. And now Ryan Coleman, who has really been spectacular. He's batting in the 7th spot. Today, 1 for 1, 3-run homer and 2 walks. Hit a 3-run homer yesterday. So he's been hitting some bombs over the right field wall. And this from a guy who only had 5 home runs coming into yesterday. Now he has 7 on the season. Takes a ball, 1-0. Just gotten into a home run groove.
Looking at the bullpen there of Point Loma, where you saw Jonathan Kuzowski.
Coleman has 6 RBIs in his last 3 official at-bats. He's got 2 men on here. Takes high, 2-0. So he's looking for another 3-run bomb. piling up the numbers here. His home run yesterday against Southern Arkansas. The pitch to Coleman outside. That's 7 balls that have been thrown to 2 hitters. The first one, Santucci walked on 4 pitches. Now this batter, Coleman, ahead 3-0. Not able to throw some strikes to a couple of these hitters. Slazner deals a 3-0, and he's swinging away, pops it in the air to shallow left field. Anderson giving way to Malone. 1 away. That'll bring up Parker Smith, 0 for 3, fly to center, struck out, popped to second. And wait a minute, we're going to have a new hitter here. We're going to have Healy off the bench. Aiden Healy, the freshman, comes in. We're going to pinch hit. So Healy gets an opportunity. He's been in a couple of times as a defensive replacement, getting an opportunity.
Aiden wound up going 0 for 1 in a reserved role yesterday in that win.
He's hitting .314 on the season. No homers and 4 RBIs for Healy. Getting some playing time here. The freshman from Long Valley, New Jersey. Here's the pitch, and it's low for a ball. 2-0 to Healy. 2 on, 1 out.
I'm excited for Aiden. He's going to go out there and likely play right field, which means maybe he can be a part of whatever highlight package of defensive plays we wind up putting together.
Anybody who's out there has been doing it. 8-run lead for Rollins, looking for more. And there's a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Of course, Aiden goes to college now in Florida, but started his college career just south of us, South Carolina at Furman.
3-1. So another hitter that gets ahead in the count against Slazner. Second pitcher for Point Loma in this game. They got another pitcher in the bullpen warming up. 3-1, grounded third base side, diving stop by Kemp. Throws to second, gets 1. That's all they'll get. And wait a minute, interference double play. So Dumont didn't have a chance to throw that ball, and there's interference called on Cameron Meehan, the runner going into second. Not the first time we've seen that. So a double play that ends the inning. We'll take a look at that again when we'll take a look at it now, as Kemp made a great stop, and then Dumont at second base scooping it, but no slide by Meehan, so therefore interference double play. We go to the bottom of the 7th, the 7th inning stretch, 9-1 in favor of Rollins. Here in Cary, North Carolina, we have been enamored with the scorecard of Jalen Whitehead's mom. Jalen Whitehead, the pitcher for Rollins, who has been doing so well, and he is having the scorecard done for him by his mom. As we see, there is a
Those are both
they're the brothers, right?
Both her boys right there.
Yep, they're the brothers.
Coincidentally, also Jesslyn Whitehead's mom.
Right, Jesslyn at first base. The younger brother of Jalen on the mound, the grad student. Here's Isaiah Alvarez, who takes a strike, 0-1.
So again, Joe, that double play to end that last inning, John Sjogren just shaking his head because that's the same thing he was asking for, but it wasn't the same sequence, unfortunately for him. And then he sees his own guys fail to slide going into second. And even if there's not really a play to be had, if you don't slide in that situation going into second, it's going to be a double play with runner's interference.
Yeah, and there never would not have been a double play. There would not have been one there. Ground ball hit hard up the middle, past a reaching Torres, base hit for Alvarez, a leadoff single. So he's aboard. Now the top of the order, Anato Kemp. By the way, Aiden Healy, saw him briefly out there. He pinched hit, and he is staying in the game. He's out in right field.
And, of course, again, it all goes back to Otto Kemp had the fantastic play at third. He's made 2 tremendous efforts, and now all of a sudden gets to swing a bat.
So Kemp, 0 for 2, struck out, grounded to short, hit by a pitch. Point Loma down by 8 runs. There's a strike.
What are the odds? Both teams' third basemen are their leadoff hitters.
And these guys do a great job. And we've already talked about Kemp reaching base in every single game this season for Point Loma.
We could go years without seeing any of the 8 teams having a third baseman who bats leadoff.
That's good coincidence. Runner at first, Alvarez, with nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kemp. The pitch fouled back to the screen, and it's 1-2. That hit was the 4th for Point Loma in this game. They have been limited after they had 30 hits in their first 2 games and scored 19 runs. They had outscored their first 2 opponents 19-4. That ball gets by Herron on the wild pitch going to second base, Alvarez. So they have not played in a close game here, Point Loma. They had a tight series in their super regional against Azusa Pacific. Had to win 2 out of 3 there on their way to Cary. Two balls, 2 strikes to Kemp. The pitch in there. Strike 3 called at the letters. And that is the 5th strikeout for Jalen Whitehead. And Mom can put a K on our scorecard.
Now batting the shortstop, Scott Anderson.
Backwards K right there. Scott Anderson climbs in 2 for 3, 2 singles. He's reached on an error. It's an Azusa Pacific team that they beat that had close games against Point Loma. But Point Loma, they can be explosive with their offense. So that's why you can't really count them out of a game even when they're down by 8. They recently had a game where they scored 21 runs against Northwest Nazarene. That was in the West Regional.
Yeah, but how good is Northwest Nazarene?
Well, they were here last year.
Oh.
We loved their uniforms, by the way.
That was against their former coach, Joe Schaefer, at Northwest Nazarene now, previously at Point Loma. They faced him in February, faced him again in the regional. The Nighthawks.
2-1 the count to Anderson, the shortstop. He made a great play defensively earlier. He fouls it back. 2-2. Who hasn't made a great play defensively in this game? This has been the best defensive game that we've seen, even though on the board we do notice that there are 3 errors posted up there. 2 for Rollins and 1 for Point Loma, but we've seen so many spectacular plays. 2-2 to Anderson. Hit in the air, center field. Drifting back is Meehan. Out number 2, tagging at second is Alvarez, headed to third. The throw, and he's safe. I don't know if that was worth it to get there with 2 down in a game you're trailing by 8, but he did get there as he beat the relay throw by Acuff.
Alvarez tagging up the entire time. You understand the argument that you're making, Joe. That's not the tying run you're trying to bring home. That is the first of many runs you need to bring home. I understand once there's 2 outs, you'd like to get a little something out of this inning.
Baxter Halligan is at the plate, 0 for 2 with a walk. And he takes outside 1-0. We figure to see Halligan on the mound again soon. Pitched in the opener on Saturday. There's a called strike. Halligan got the win in that game with 6 innings and 1 run as a pitcher. Figure to see him again tomorrow if Point Loma doesn't come back here. Well, we'll probably see him tomorrow no matter what. Two and 1 is your count to Halligan. They play him to pull in the infield, straight away in the outfield. Runner at third, 2 down. Slashed at that one and missed it, 2 and 2. 9 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for Rollins. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for Point Loma. Southern California team going up against the Florida team. 2-2 to Halligan. Ooh, that was a little close. It's passed a little bit high. 3 and 2. Hunter Ochin is on deck. Whitehead deals the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him with more off-speed stuff, and that retires the side on the 6th strikeout by Whitehead. Second time that he Ks Halligan. Leaves a runner at third. 7th in the books here in Cary. 9-1 Rollins leading Point Loma. New pitcher for Point Loma. It is right-hander Jonathan Kuzowski. Kuzowski is a freshman from L.A., and he will be the 3rd pitcher today for Point Loma. Of course, Slasner went since the 5th inning up until the 7th, so went 2 and a 3rd.
Point Loma, your home team in this game. If Rollins forces a rematch tomorrow, they will have the benefit of being the home team. Rollins came out of the gates in a hurry in this one. 8 runs in the first 3 innings, chasing the starting pitcher Dylan Miller after 4 2/3.
3 big homers, one of them by this man, Jared Herron, who had a 2-run homer his first time up, and that ball goes behind him. Always makes you think a little bit.
He still almost fouled that ball off. There's your number 1 seed, the other 2-0 team of North Greenville, from 4 hours away outside of Charlotte, and yes, north of Greenville in Tigerville, South Carolina. But that ball was so far behind Herron, it still almost hit the barrel of his bat on his back shoulder.
Fouls this one back.
Made you think of John Kruk against Randy Johnson.
Yeah, that's always scary. Kuzowski.
Here's that pitch.
Yeah, it was a breaking ball, I think, that slipped out of his hand.
Didn't go.
Kuzowski, so I want to pronounce that, deals, and it's high 2 and 1. Kuzowski 1-0, 4.00 ERA, 9th appearance all in relief. 9 innings is all he has worked this year. 4 runs, 9 hits, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts. So he hasn't had a lot of work. But in a game like this, where it's 9-1, you're probably not going to use your top pitchers. Want to save them for the games that are closer.
If you're Point Loma, you're still open to the idea of winning this game, but you are not going to expend a lot of resources.
Could set up a matchup tomorrow where it would be an elimination game for both teams. It will be set up that way if this score holds. And the winner of that game tomorrow would get to the championship to face either North Greenville or Westchester.
Well, today was Rollins' turn to throw a first-team All-American. Tomorrow will be Point Loma's turn to throw their first-team All-American.
Strike 3. Got him with a high heat. So 1 out for Kuzowski. Yeah, it'll be Baxter Halligan tomorrow for Point Loma. And I guess you figure it'd be Justin Allentoff that would go for Rollins, right? Be on 3 days rest because he pitched Monday.
Yeah, he was the second starter we saw.
Here's Joey Rubin. That one's way inside, 1-0. And he was good. I mean, the Rollins starters have done a really good job. In fact, if you add up what they've done through the first 7 innings of this game. That's 27 innings, 5 earned runs. Fouled back. Ruben has a count of 1-1.
Even though Rollins has been playing for their season, they got one of the best starts all week long from any pitcher. It just happened to be in a losing effort against Adorno, another
Right.
All-American in that opener. Otherwise, Rollins could easily have been the team that was in the winner's bracket the whole way.
2-1 to Ruben. Then they had the outing, as I mentioned, by Allentoff, where he went 7 scoreless innings. So between Whitehead and Allentoff, they've done a really nice job. And then Stone Forcina also, I mean, he wasn't bad. He went 5 innings with 2 runs. So all of their starters have really held up. 3-1 now to Ruben. And they've only used 1 relief pitcher. Well, 1 regular reliever. Here's a line drive into center field. That's a base hit. Drops in front of Alvarez as Ruben is aboard with his third base hit. 3 for 5 today, and that is 11 hits now for Rollins. Yeah, the bullpen, they've used Austin Long for 5 2/3 innings, and they used Chase Acuff, who's the shortstop, pitches sometimes, and he worked a third of an inning. But, I mean, really the starters have done a great job for Rollins. Here is Acuff, 0 for 3, a sac fly his last time up. Runner at first and 1 out. So Ruben now has 6 hits in this tournament. Look out, threw it behind him. That's 2 of those pitches. Likes to greet a batter with that.
And remember, one of his pitches to Ruben was tight but inside, in front of Ruben.
Ruben is now 6 for 16 here in Cary. Done a great job as the leadoff hitter for Rollins, a freshman. Pitches there a little bit low, 2-0.
That sac fly for Acuff in the 6th inning, the one caught by Ochin, where then he almost completed a double play with a throw home.
Kuzowski deals. A looper over second into right field, base hit. Ruben racing for third. Ochin throws to the cutoff man. First and third with 1 out. And the hits just keep on coming. That's 12 hits now for Rollins.
Yeah, Joey Ruben early on, they were able to recognize that ball was going to get out of the infield. Goes from first to third.
And that makes it so that only 1 hitter in the starting lineup did not get a base hit. Parker Smith left the game without a hit, so he will not be able to do that. But every other spot in the order has had at least 1 base hit. And here's Adams Torres, 1 for 3, a single, a walk, and 2 runs scored. This offense has been exceptional today. 1-0. They bunched up their runs early. 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third. Led 8-0. Each team scored a run in the 6th, and that's been it. Kuzowski looks at third base and deals. Ground ball in the hole. Shortstop base hit left field. In to score Ruben from third. Stopping at second. Acuff. Adams Torres with an RBI single. His 3rd RBI of the tournament. 10-1 in favor of Rollins.
I mean, it's just a game where you feel good for Rollins, with apologies to Point Loma, a team that is playing for a 3rd straight day in the elimination bracket despite a great outing and their only loss this week. A team that it's so hard just to get out of their own conference, finishing 4th this year in the Sunshine State Conference with an 18-12 mark. But here they are, representing the state pretty well.
Here's Jesslyn Whitehead. His brother Jalen has pitched well, and he's been swinging the bat in a great way as he takes a strike. He's 3 for 4 today, 3 singles, and he is 7 for 15 in the tournament. 3 straight hits here against Kuzowski. Runners take their leads at first and second, 1 out. Jesslyn Whitehead. Look out, he gets hit. So the bases will be loaded.
His mom will score that as an HBP.
We've had one of those for each team today. Now Nick Santucci will climb in, the 3-run homer in the first that got the sombrero wearing started. 15th home run of the year, and he's also flied to center twice and walked. That sombrero has been worn out by this point in the game. Bases loaded, 1 out, the pitch. Way high and away, 1-0. It seems like Kuzowski's having trouble snapping off his breaking ball from time to time.
Well, Santucci got it started. Remember, 2 outs in that first inning. 3 men reached, including Nick, with that first of the 3 home runs.
He fouls one out of play behind the plate on the left side. It's Acuff at third, Torres at second, Whitehead at first. Well, one thing about sports, you can't really carry momentum from one game to the next. People talk about it, but I don't think it works. So you can win big here today, but it starts all over again tomorrow with these two teams. If this score holds up. First time that Rollins is seeing Point Loma as Rollins played Southern Arkansas a couple of times and split with them and beat Illinois Springfield. Eliminated 2 teams their last couple of games. 2-1. High for a ball. 3-1. Runners leading all around with 1 out. Now it's 3-1 to Santucci. Here's the pitch. Hit in the air, right center field. Converging is Ochin and Alvarez. Alvarez calls, makes the catch. Runners tag. And the run scores from third, Acuff. Torres gets the third. Hanging on at first is Whitehead. It's a sac fly for Santucci, his 4th RBI of the game. 11-1 Rollins.
Yeah, Nick was disappointed. He wanted more, but still a productive plate appearance with the sac fly.
So he's had a big game, and now Cameron Meehan, 7th batter to hit here in the 8th inning. 1 for 3, a single and a walk. 2 runs are in this frame. Kuzowski out of the stretch, drills him. So now the bases are loaded. 2 hit batsmen in this inning for Kuzowski.
8th inning has been magical when it's come to hit batters this week.
Yeah, we saw 5 of them in 1 inning the other day with Westchester as they came back to beat Southern New Hampshire to remain alive. That was an elimination game. They were down 3-0 in the middle innings, came back and won 7-3.
That's a day we saw 40-plus free passes, not counting the free admission to the ballpark all week long.
And Westchester parlayed that into beating Angelo State. That pitch was about a 57-footer, wild pitch. Here comes Torres. He scores. Another run coming in. So a 3-run inning. It's 12-1 now, Rollins. The other runners move up 90 feet to second and third. At Westchester, they opened up their offense with the 12-2 win over Angelo State last night. Actually, yesterday afternoon. I shouldn't say night because we were done by, I think, about 5 or 6 o'clock.
That's when the rain moved in.
That was fortunate. The game started early and it was planned perfectly. Ryan Coleman at the plate, 1 for 2, 3-run homer, 2 walks, hits a shot toward short, gloved by Anderson, guns to first to get him, and the inning is finally over. But 8 men come to the plate, 3 of them score. There were 3 more base hits. And at the end of 7.5, it's 12-1 Rollins. Well, Jalen Whitehead looking for his 11th win of the year and trying to keep his team alive here at the Division II Baseball Championship. And he has been dealing as he has struck out 6 Sea Lions and pitching with a big lead today. But he's done a really nice job as through his first 7 innings of work, only gave up 1 run, 4 hits. Those were documented by his mom on that scorecard that you saw with Jalen on the mound and brother Jesslyn over at first base. This team looks like they're going to have a good chance now to get to tomorrow to play a rematch game against Point Loma. Leading off, it's going to be a pinch hitter, James Halpin, for the Sea Lions.
Yeah, he'll bat for Hunter Ochin.
So Alpin gets an opportunity. He's only had 7 at-bats this year. He's got 4 hits. And 2 of those hits are home runs and 5 RBIs. So Halpin, in a limited opportunity, has played well for the senior, and he swings and misses 0-1.
Out of San Mateo. Yeah, that batting clip of .571 with a couple of home runs this year. This is his 13th game.
Swing and a miss. Goes up there swinging. So Halpin behind 0-2. Yeah, from the Bay Area, San Mateo, right near San Francisco.
And we have a significant shift.
Yeah, the overshift is on. They know something about him. And he hits right into the shift. The shortstop will field this Acuff, and that is a 6-3 putout for out number 1.
Now, I wanted to point out, a standard second baseman, that ball's probably hit to him. But in this case,
Right.
the shift, shortstop happened to be there.
By the way, you mentioned that Rollins would need Whitehead to eat up innings and maybe throw a lot of pitches, and they haven't had anybody warming up in the bullpen. He's thrown 124 pitches here.
Wow.
We're in the 8th. If you wanted him to go all the way, it's going to be a high pitch count. And you can't ask him really to come back after this.
No, best you could hope for is a couple of innings late in a ball game at the end of the week.
Jacob Christian at the plate, and he checks his swing. There's a strike. He's behind 0-2. And he is 0 for 2. Struck out, walked, reached on an error by the first baseman Whitehead. That ball that skipped over his glove earlier ruled an error. Ground ball, hole at shortstop. Nice stop. Acuff jumps and throws like Derek Jeter and gets him at first base. What a play by Chase Acuff. He turned into Derek Jeter all of a sudden. Now, Point Loma doesn't think that should be an out call at first. It was very close. Rick Cacciatori's had a perfect record, I think. And they're going to take a look, or at least talk about this first.
Well, we get to cheat. We get to maybe get a preview of it, but Jacob Christian determined he got there.
Yeah, I think he's safe.
It's one of those where it's such a spectacular defensive effort.
Yeah, it was.
And it's more exciting if you get the out. Unfortunately, I don't think there was an out to be called there.
Well, we saw one earlier where Scott Anderson, the other shortstop, the shortstop for Point Loma, made a great play. And then upon further review, the call did stand. It was a call where it was an out call. Now, this is another out call, but this really looks like, from the look we had, looks like Christian is correct and Cacciatore is wrong, and that is the case. That might be the first one that Rick Cacciatore missed.
Well, and he's the one who relays the decision. A rare overturn of a call, but clearly the right decision.
Man, what an effort that was by Acuff. I mean, he's shaking his head, but and watch this. To jump in the air and the arm strength to get this over to first. Nice stretch, too, by Jesslyn Whitehead. But Christian, he knew that he was safe, and he was right.
They're going to bat for Easton Waterman here.
Yeah, pinch hitting. It's Jake Intrican. Jake Intrican is at the plate.
Intrican, another San Diego native, the freshman, who actually stepped in for Waterman for the first 8 games this year. They went 8-0 with him filling in.
Intrican grounds it to short. Acuff to second. 1 on the run. Torres throws to first in time. Perfect throw. 6-4-3. Inning-ending double play off the bat of Intrican. We have played 8, and it's all Rollins here in our first game. 12-1 Tars. A number of changes for Point Loma as we go to the 9th inning, with Rollins leading at 12-1. Got a new left fielder, Seth Ryberg, who would bat in the number 7 spot in the order for Point Loma. You've got Halpin now in right. He came on as a pinch hitter, stayed in the game to play right. You've got Intrican, now the catcher. He came on as a pinch hitter. And we have a new pitcher, Andrew Meyer, as Kuzowski leaves the game. Meyer is the 4th pitcher of the game for Point Loma.
6th game of the season for Andrew Meyer, the redshirt freshman out of Danville, California. He has thrown 3 2/3 inning of work this year. And as for the ERA, limited sample size, 14.73.
Number 10, Aiden Healy.
Well, he's only worked 3 2/3 innings, giving up 6 earned runs. 6th appearance for Meyer, and he will face Healy leading off. Healy came in earlier as a pinch hitter and hit into a double play on an interference call. Gets ahead 1-0.
And Intrican, your catcher, the rest of the way. Very capable catcher, we mentioned. Made the first 8 starts this year in the absence of eventual starter.
Well, trying to get some players a little bit of rest here to get ready for tomorrow. It's a hot afternoon, especially if you're a catcher. You know, Waterman to get a little break here at the end of this game definitely will help. Get some fluids. And you talk over the signs here with a brand new battery. So tomorrow we're slated for a 1:30 start. But we'll have to see. There's some weather coming our way on Saturday that may have the schedule change. It's in flux right now. It's a state of flux as Healy takes outside and the count is 3-0.
We will know more after tonight's game.
Yes. Tonight's game is at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 Pacific. North Greenville and Westchester.
Both of those teams are pleased with the way this one's playing out.
Both of those teams have been putting up some runs lately. That's way outside. 4-pitch walk for Healy. North Greenville just won their last game 18-3 over Angelo State, while Westchester beat Angelo State 12-2.
Batting the catcher, Jared Herron.
Sending the Rams packing. You see the sequence there of 4 straight balls by Meyer. Here's Jared Herron, who had a 2-run homer his first time. He's also reached on an error.
Will we see the double guns up again from Jared Herron today? Had one chance to flex after the 2-base error back in the 6th.
Been flexing quite a bit because he had that homer in the 2nd. He's also had 3 doubles in this tournament. In fact, his 4 hits have all been extra bases, so there's a lot of flexing.
Brief start to his career in Tallahassee at Florida State. After growing up in Orlando.
He stays in the whole game as the catcher. He bats here. And he'll be catching tomorrow if this score holds. 2-1 the count.
One of 7 different Rollins players to score today.
Point Loma maybe a little stunned by this, giving up this many runs, allowing 12 to pitch in the dirt. Yeah, they've had some games where they've given up runs, but when all was said and done, their ERA was 2nd in the country coming into this game, and they were pitching well in this tournament up until this game. So a little blemish for the pitching staff that had done so well. As Dylan Miller gave up 3 home runs today. Runner at first, nobody out. The pitch is way outside, ball 4. So you've got 2 men on walks here against Meyer in the 9th.
In Rollins playing its 3rd straight day, and over the next 2 days, they may still have 3 more games to play.
Top of the order, Joey Rubin. That is 7 walks now for the Point Loma pitchers. Rubin, 3 hits today in 5 at-bats. Takes a strike. He has 6 hits in 16 at-bats in this tournament. And wait a minute, it's actually not Ruben. Got a pinch hitter here. Drew Howard.
Second time to see Drew this week.
Lots of pinch hitters. Howard tried to hold up on his swing, but he goes around, and it's 0-2.
It's a national championship you can win by playing as few as 4 games or as many as 7.
Howard 3 for 28 on the year. Now has a count of 1-2. Well, Point Loma was hoping for a little boost if they could have won here and not have to worry about playing Rollins again tomorrow, but doesn't look good for that. 2-2. I mean, if North Greenville wins, then they could just be sitting there tomorrow watching these two teams play.
That's the goal.
Strike 3 called. Howard is caught looking. 1 away. The inside part of the plate there.
And North Greenville still can just go 4-0 this week to win the title. Rollins going to either be playing 6 or 7 games.
But here's the thing with the weather situation that we have. North Greenville may win tonight, but they may have to be ready to play a game tomorrow night, from what I understand. As Akoff hits a fly ball to right field. That's Halpin. He's got it for the second out. The runners stay. Because we're concerned about so much weather, bad weather on Saturday, that they may try to get game in tomorrow night.
Yeah, that would mean whoever wins the rematch of this game tomorrow would turn back around for a second game in a doubleheader against a new foe.
Yeah.
Waiting on them. Of course.
Now we got another pinch hitter. This is Sam Tanis. Tanis batting for Torres.
Rhode Island native in his freshman year. 29th game of the season. First time we've seen him this week.
Batting .256. No homers, 1 RBI. 2 on, 2 outs. Called strike.
Cool moment to get your name in the box score. Years from now when you look back at that first Rollins run in the championship since 2004.
That did not make it to the plate. 2-1 to Tanis. $12 runs, 13 hits, and 2 errors for Rollins in this game. 3 homers. 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error for Point Loma. Tanis jumps out of the way of that one. 3-1. Jesslyn Whitehead is on deck. Whitehead can come up. He'd have a chance at a 4-hit game. The Whitehead brothers have had their fingerprints on this game. 3-1 to Tanis. He got drilled. And that might have hit him on the right arm, but he's running it off. He's going over to first base, trying not to think about it. And the bases are loaded, so some of these relievers here for Point Loma are hitting batters. That's 3 in the last 2 innings. Now Jesslyn Whitehead, 3 for 4, 3 singles. Ooh, that hit him on somewhere on the right arm.
Around the funny bone.
So Whitehead, 7 hits in 15 at-bats here in Cary. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. Bases loaded, 2 down.
All base runners reached via free pass.
Way high. So Myers having control issues here, 1-0. 2 walks to start out his outing. He got a strikeout and a fly out, and then he hits a batter. So all the runners on are on free passes. It's been that kind of day for Point Loma's pitching staff. 7 walks and 3 hit batsmen, so 10 free passes in addition to the 13 hits. So that's 23 base runners that way. Plus they made 1 error.
Those 3 home runs pretty much did them in.
There's a ground ball hit to shortstop for Anderson. Flips to second, getting it to Dumont, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors. 3 left on base. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. 12-1, Rollins over Point Loma. Here at the NCAA Division II Baseball Championship, those two teams going at it. May go at it again tomorrow. It's an elimination game for Rollins, but they have been taking care of business, up 12-1 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. A couple of changes defensively for Rollins, as they have Howard staying in the game playing third base, and Tanos staying in the game playing second base after they came in as pinch hitters. And now Ryberg, who came into the game for Point Loma earlier, will face Whitehead, who looks for his second complete game here in this tournament. He started the first game of the tournament against Southern Arkansas, went all the way and got the loss, now trying to get a victory. So here's Ryberg, and he takes a strike, 0-1.
Well, again, the difference is Rollins able to throw its All-American today, and Point Loma, it appears, will be throwing an All-American at Rollins tomorrow.
Big advantage to have that man on the hill. So Ryberg at the plate, hitting .309 on the year with a home run and 11 RBIs. 56th at bat of the season as he takes in the dirt as a count of 1-2. He'll be followed by Dumont and Alvarez, unless they leave for pinch hitters. Only 5 hits for Point Loma against Whitehead. Way outside. $133 pitches for Whitehead in this game. Bouncing ball hit to the right side, quickly to his left. Tanos throws it away. Made a great effort. Remember, he got hit on the right arm at the plate in the last half inning, and you wonder if that affected him. I was watching him out there in warm-ups, and he was shaking his arm around. So that's my excuse for him on that. But it will not be an error. It's going to be a base hit and infield single anyway.
Well, he's trying to go out there and fight for his pitcher, as you mentioned, who's past 130 pitches.
It's a bad release point there for Sam Tanos. So here is a pinch hitter for Dumont. This is J.J. Garordin. J.J. Garordin at the plate. So Garordin getting an opportunity here.
Garordin out of Black Diamond, Washington, freshman.
His first at bat here at the Division II Baseball Championship. Ryberg at first, nobody out. Garordin bounces one over the bag at first. Fair ball down the right field line. He's batting 1,000, the D2 Championship. Stopping at third is Ryberg. First and third, nobody out. So Garordin gets the base hit, and that's a throw for him. This guy who only had 49 at-bats this season.
Point Loma is still undefeated so far this week, at least for another 3 outs. They still have all 3 outs to work with.
Adam Axtell comes up as a pinch hitter, the sophomore from Irvine, California. It's one pinch hitter after another. Axtell takes a ball, 1-0.
Adam made 15 starts this year. This is his 26th game of the season.
Gets ahead 2-0 against Whitehead. As Coach Sjogren really does not want to use his bullpen. He does have somebody getting loose now just in case, because you don't want Whitehead to totally lose it here as far as not having any chance to come back. I mean, even as it is now, here we are on Thursday. I don't know that he could come back even for an inning on Saturday when you're up to Now 140 pitches.
They'd love to be in that situation, though.
They would. And that is your day to throw on the side, generally. Ground ball, base hit, right field. A run comes in to score from third. Ryberg. Stopping at second is Gerardin. As the throw comes in from Healy. RBI single for Axtell. 12-2 in favor of Rollins.
Yeah, a little bit of action in that bullpen, understandably.
The pinch hitting continues, by the way. Connor Hill is pinch hitting. Connor Hill takes the ball 1-0 as he pinch hits for Kemp.
Kemp, who did reach base once today with that hit by pitch back in the third, continues his streak to 59 games this year.
There's a strike, 1-1 to Hill. Hill, a freshman from Goodyear, Arizona. 2 on, nobody out. That's lined down the left field line, a base hit in the corner. Cut off out there by Coleman. 1 run scores, throw to third, not in time as Axtell gets in there. In at second with an RBI double is Hill. And 2 runs are across here in the 9th inning to make it 12-3 Rollins. And that is going to bring about a conversation at the mound as the pitching coach, Patrick Serba, comes out.
I mean, Jalen Whitehead, again, with that huge pitch count now.
144.
Skewing some of his numbers here late. Everybody hitting for Point Loma.
Yeah, the pinch hitting is going to continue. That was only the second at-bat of the season for Connor Hill and his first hit of the season. So now, pinch hitting for Scott Anderson.
Now batting number 19, Reagan Matson.
We have Reagan Matson, redshirt freshman from Olympia, Washington.
Yeah, most of Connor Hill's appearances this year have been as a pitcher.
Yeah. So Matson, who transferred from the University of Portland, gets an at-bat here and takes a strike. Whitehead keeps throwing. Fouled back. 0-2 to Matson. Matson only 3 at-bats this season, 1 for 3 as an RBI. He's got 2 men in scoring position here at second and third, nobody out. Well, they were down 12-1, now it's 12-3. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Matson goes down on strikes, and that pitch that tailed away from him, 1 away. 7th strikeout for Whitehead.
The designated hitter,
Baxter Halligan gets the hit. They are not pinch hitting for him. The DH 0 for 3 with a walk. He's flied to center and struck out twice. We figure to see him on the mound tomorrow. Ball 1. Rollins team that reached the semis in 2004, but it had not been here to the Division II baseball championship since then. That's 18 years ago. And when they were eliminated in 2004, their situation was they were going up against Bryant, coached by John Sjogren, who's now their coach at Rollins. He was coaching Bryant against Rollins. And now his team hoping to get to Friday with a chance to get to the championship. 2-1 to Halligan. Axtell at third and Hill at second. Changeup grounded to first, fielding it is Whitehead. He was positioned perfectly. Goes to the bag, gets the out, run scores from third. Axtell to make it 12-4, but more importantly, that's the second out. Another runner goes to third and Hill. RBI for Halligan. His third of the tournament. And now Halpin climbs in. He grounded as short as a pinch hitter in the 8th. So the Sea Lions down to their final out. It's the most pitches we've seen from a pitcher in this tournament this year. 152 now for Whitehead, 1-0.
Yeah, it's not something to aspire to, but it was made possible with that early, nearly double-digit lead for most of the ball game for Whitehead.
Ground ball in the hole at second. They had the shift on, diving for it. Acuff throws him out, and that's your ball game. Great play by the shortstop over on that side. And Rollins made a number of plays and had the power early. 3 home runs in the first 3 innings were the difference as Rollins pounds out 13 hits, and they win it 12-4 over Point Loma to survive another day at the Division II Baseball Championship and set up a rematch tomorrow against the Sea Lions.
These 2 teams will meet again tomorrow.
3 straight wins with their season on the line. Tars have gotten a hang of it. They're going to do it again tomorrow.
Santucci a 3-run homer, Herron a 2-run homer, Coleman a 3-run homer. We'll see if they can do that probably against Halligan tomorrow. Just a great performance. For Lincoln Rose and our entire crew, I'm Joe Castellano. We'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern for North Greenville and Westchester.